Hello, and welcome to the new year 2015 of Wargamers Hangouts. And this is also Wargamers Hangout 15. We haven't done 2,000 of them, though.
Number 15 in 2015. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
So we were hoping to have another guest on tonight, but he's been very sick recently, and so I'm guessing he's not coming. He might pop in later. Who knows? But how was everybody's New Year's and Christmas or whatever you celebrate?
Well,
maybe list off what do we get for Christmas?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at on the chat here. There's a lot of people who did better than me. We see here our models, Vindicus, Durish, and Vigilant. So it seems like some good stuff.
Welcome to the new year 2015 of Wargamers Hangout. Yeah, I had a very quiet Christmas, quiet New Year's. It was just chill. Most of my family's on the other side of Canada, living right beside Mini Wargaming, but 50% off, 2 liters. It's all they had left. But it was good. I haven't really bought myself anything because mostly I'm saving up for my trip to Thailand, which for those of you who do not know, I'm not keeping up. In 1 week's time, I will be on a plane at this time, probably around Japan or something, on my way to Bangkok to go have fun in Thailand. So that's cool. So yeah, so I'm just saving for that right now. When I get back, then we'll figure out wargaming stuff more and get into the videos.
And when will you be getting back, Dan?
We're getting back February 4th.
So we'll have a Wargamers Hangout pretty much a month from now.
Yeah, it'll be a month from now.
So my wargaming stuff came from people who didn't really wargame, and it was actually really entertaining because, like, my brother just sort of looked through my Amazon wish list or whatever, and I had a Vanguard on there, so he picked that. And it's hilarious because the only reason I had a Vanguard on there is because one of these days I want to try Zorkova's No Quarter theme list. And so now I kind of have a reason to start building that way. So I think for this year, for 2015, I'm going to try and win with Zorkova, which will be interesting.
2015 for me is the year of pigs. I said that was going to be last year, but then I was kind of, wishy-washy with it. But this year, with Helga and Midas and Arcadius here, I'm just going to have fun with the pigs.
Is there a lot of stuff to paint then still?
Sorry?
A lot of stuff to paint then still?
Yeah, I don't even own Helga yet. And I'll have to build... Well, I bought a bunch of Pharaoh from someone else, just like their scrap stuff. And I have like 3 Roadhogs, 3 Warhogs. I need to get another Gunbore. And also 1 more Gorax to actually play the Arcadius tier without proxying and stuff. So yeah, I have a bunch of stuff still to collect and paint. Yeah. There's plenty to keep me busy.
Fair enough. And then tournaments, conventions, etc.
This year is crazy for me because I want to travel. I love meeting people. I love meeting people who watch and appreciate the videos and just traveling and competing. But again, with Thailand, and then I'm probably going to go to Mexico to visit my sister in April. And so those are like 2 big trips. And so maybe towards the end of the year, maybe like a War Machine weekend or something. We would go to that.
Yeah, toward the end.
Adepticon, and I really want to go to Adepticon again. It was so much fun. It was great. So many awesome people. And it's so chill of an environment. But it's looking like a no-go this year. Maybe things will change, but probably not. It's very sad.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, this year I think will be spent, like, kind of rekindling my channel. Like, 2014 was so overwhelming with projects and, like, still finishing up the Kickstarter and everything. Literally took priority over everything. And, right. Oh my gosh. So this month is spent cleaning up 2014, and then I could start 2015. And, yeah, so definitely a reassertion toward my channel, which I'm very glad about because I've got lots of really cool plans. And hopefully, as long as nothing else explodes in my house, I should be able to accomplish at least 45% of them.
Yay! Yeah, I think I only had like 4 days off during the holidays. Like, I was working most every single day, so I don't know. But I had very, very busy holidays, so I didn't have time to like get back and make some videos, and so probably odds are I won't have another video up for a month. It'll be another Wargamers Hangout, and then I'll get to making videos again. Because I do enjoy making videos. I want you guys to see them, but just logistically, it's tough right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
We're sorry. But yeah, so anyway, let me see here. So as far as everyone else, tell us what your New Year's was like, if you have any New Year's resolution type of thing, or if you're even that kind of person. Typically, I don't do the New Year's resolution thing, just because if you want to start something, you should probably just start it rather than waiting for a year or a set time frame to even do it. But it's still kind of fun, like, you know, the beginning of the year. Do you have X number of models you want to paint, or you know, a type of army you want to try, or I don't know, a specific caster you're going to try and win with, which is, I guess, mine.
I'm pretty excited for Zorova. I love like underdog casters. You're like, yeah, I can make it work.
I'll feel pretty good if I win with her. I'll be like, I've arrived.
Now, what's her theme? Like, what's involved in that?
Howling Wind, I think. It's a big denial feat. You can't like run or charge. You can't give orders within her control area. So it's just big denial, and it's a good feat, but it's not like everything else she has isn't amazing. Like, what is it? Watcher's really good. Banishing Word's pretty good, but it seems like she wants to run Doom Reavers who don't care. So, there's that. And then, like, Razor Wind and Twister, which actually seems awful, but I don't know. It's why you feel good if you win with her. But she does have 7 focus, which means she can probably run a Colossal pretty well.
So, wait, the Zorova, it's like the Hunting Wolves?
Yeah, so in that, the Vanguards become Khador Faction Warjacks, and Tier 4, I think they're like 4-point Warjacks. I'm going to double check my little army that I built on it.
Yeah, they count as Khador Warjacks. That's cool. You're the light Warjack for once.
I know! If only she had an arc node. You know, Zorova would be pretty good if she had an arc node.
Yeah, well, a lot of people would be really good at that arc node.
It's true. And her tier also gives her a second full unit of Kayazi with another underboss. So seems like you could probably play that pretty well, but I don't own a second unit of Kayazi yet, so.
And you get free clouds. That's not huge because
yeah, it goes away after turn 1. You're all running anyway, so.
You can like run into the clouds and get you can run instead of having the turnians like put them down. So that's nice.
Right. And then of course everyone's favorite thing is you can include Gorman in tier.
Oh yeah, Gorman's in there. Widowmakers.
Yeah,
they're always great. You get 2 inches more deployment, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And then if you have 3 or more Warjacks, everything costs 1 less.
Correct it. Well, I mean, if you're going to play, you might as well go to full tier 4.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Nick Dumont. Zorkova's great in spell drafts. I've not done a spell draft yet. Well, did we do one at Adepticon? There was some small one where we were pulling like spells from a grab bag.
No. I did it at Lock and Load.
Yeah.
I got screwed. I got no good spells for Siege.
Duncan McDonald, what army are you painting for your 35-point list?
It's a good goal. Get 1 list done.
That's really hard though, because like you have a list, but then it's hard not to want to like just change this little thing out or try to change this little thing out. Like I've had my Great Bears for some months now, and they still haven't been assembled, and I really can't wait to put them in a list.
Yeah, they're really now annoying. They're just like, oh, these good little solos. They're like, blah! Like, oh my goodness, it hurts.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. I was playing a game with pigs 2 weeks ago now, maybe 3 now. Oh yeah, crazy holidays go by way too fast. But I was playing against a men-off player who brought two adjudicators with P. Savvy and Tristan, and it was just like he was just slaughtering me, just like blowing me apart. It's like pow 10 blast damage. It was like it hurts. Just all my pigs were just being massacred. But then I was like, ooh, I got a roadhog. And you just go forward and like light Savvy on fire. Luckily there was Killbox, so he was close.
That's all it takes. Like your road.
Well, it was cool. He went down to 1 box. Okay, 1 box. He was on fire, and then he cast Defender's Ward on himself, or maybe it was it was Peace Savers. He cast Defender's Ward on himself, and then he healed himself for 4 with his focus. And so the fire didn't go out again, and it brought him down to like 4 health. But then like he just kept healing himself, and then I needed like boxcars the last damage roll to kill him, and I did not. And so I just gave up. Because it was just like, I'm done. But yeah, just lighting enemy caster on fire. It's like, whoop, maybe I win.
It makes no sense to me. Literally, like you're imagining this in the world. There's this armored caster, focused general leading an army. Set on fire, just standing there on fire, waiting for it to randomly go out? What is happening?
See, that's why you need purification casters, and they can just purify it off.
I've got no purification casters.
Me either.
We should write a strongly worded letter.
Both of my factions, no purification.
Yeah, no, neither does neither. Oh man, I've been out of the game for a while. Like I haven't practiced in like at least a month, and unfortunately I get rusty really fast. And I always make the same stupid mistakes. It drives me crazy. Like, I'm not spreading them out like the correct distance or whatever. So I fought Retribution yesterday, 50-point game against Assyria. I got so slaughtered. Hyperion got his like critical consume off, taking like 5 or 6 of my models out, like solos and everything. Just total living the dream moments. Like he was critting and doing really well. I mean, the dice were, you always feel like you're being cheated by dice when you're already doing bad, but it ended up being a very, very sad game for Kador. It's like, oh man, forgot you could do that.
Yeah, I've actually never faced a Hyperion.
Hyperion's really good. I think they're the most hitboxes of any Colossal, right? Because they have that shield on top of everything.
I think Conquest still has more. Maybe not.
Conquest has 62 boxes, something like that.
I don't know.
I think Hyperion actually has more.
I never know these things. I'm going to check though.
So yeah, knocking off the rust in 2015, I started off losing. It's what I expect, though. Anytime I've been away from the game for a while, and then I come back to it, literally it's like 10 games, just getting your teeth kicked in before you're like, okay, I got this. And then you start winning again. It's like, oh, what is this new roll? And then I don't know what the new Steamroller stuff's gonna bring. So.
Oh, you haven't played the beta at all?
I've played some of the beta, but I guess it's subject to change.
Yeah, that's true. I think they're going to keep it mostly like that. It's just with your list, like you have your 2 lists in tournament, and with each list, you choose what kind of objective you're going to have.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, it gives more of a reason to have anything to do with objectives. So.
Yeah, I like it because you can build your strategy around it a little more. Like if there is the objective, like you can make things like, or you can cast like upkeep spells for free near them or for 1 or something like, and then there's like plasma nimbus, so if little guys are hitting it then they die afterwards, like, or you get like bunker, and so it's got like impervious flesh, so people shooting at it get -1 against range attacks. So if you're worried about that, then whatever. So it's neat. It adds a little more dynamics to the game.
And we played that scenario. Like I ended up losing on scenario because you still couldn't like quite kill Sorsha because she's defense godly. Yep. But But we didn't do anything with the objectives still. But we were both, like, he was out of the game for a while too, and so we're both kind of noobing it up on the board. It was such a slow game. Like, we're just laughing the whole time. We're like, oh yeah, pre-deploy your Hyperion, derp. So, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was cool, like, for Sorcerer, for example, like, with their super high defense.
Yeah.
But she's not immune to knockdown, right?
No.
But you can bring the objective. You could bring the objective that makes you girded, and so you could run up beside the objective, and then you're immune to knockdown.
Yeah, unless you're against, you know, one of the best shooting armies. And then it's like, well, I'm not knocked down, but you can still hit me.
It's hard.
Yeah. Kind of want to limit the options, I think, more.
I guess whatever you're worried about.
It's true.
Or you can have it, you mean the blast damage as well? If you're worried about that kind of stuff. So.
The field catch is nice. That would actually be really good for Kador because you are already sort of focus limited when you're running more than 2 jacks. So, or even 1, really.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you would, but then
so far on the back of the board. What's that?
It doesn't seem like you would at first, but then like when you're playing and you just position properly, it's almost like, yeah, it just adds a whole different part of the game, which I'm excited for. I like when you throw a wrench in the regular gameplay and make it more interesting.
I agree. I think it'll be interesting. So Duncan answered my question from earlier as to which army he's playing, both Trolls and Kador. So are you making 2 separate 35-point armies to paint, or are you just picking one and going to paint that this year? And then I guess Sammy's wanting to learn War Machine. I know you know War Machine better than that, Sammy.
I think one of my goals this year is to have something every month done. Like
yeah.
We all have tons of models that are not assembled / painted. We all have them. And so I just want to, like, every month, even if it's just one model, just something every month, just kind of keep on track.
Yeah.
Just to say, hey, I did this. And just kind of keeping the mindset, because too many times, like, you just kind of, like, the longer it goes, the easier it is to push off.
And then you start making lists, and you're like, I really wish I had this ready. Oh, well. Yeah, I have a few fantasy lists in my old Warhammer app of, like, whenever this gets built, this will be done. But that hasn't actually motivated me at all. But another thing we are doing this year is, like, my friends, we're all getting together, and we're going to maybe start, like, a bi-weekly painting session / assembly. So just come over and paint or assemble your stuff that you've been putting off, or what you got for Christmas, or your new army, or if you like me, just this sad pile of stuff that's been accumulating for the better part of the year.
I like that idea a lot. People like playing here too much, though. So it's like, well, we could get together and assemble, or we can play.
Well, one of the things I really like about hanging out and painting or assembling is you're all talking about the game, and it's just a whole bunch of, like, theory, shop talk, and it makes you more excited to play the game. Because if you get away from it for a while, and you're not really, or if you're around a bunch of people who don't particularly talk about it, it's easy to almost fall out of interest. Or even if you miss it, you feel like you're out of the loop, because it is an ever-changing meta. And so, you have a bunch of friends that get together, and you're, like, working on this, and you're like, yeah, I can't wait to put it with this list, or, oh, well, this is this, thing that I've been working on, or have you listened to this podcast? And it's just a really good time. So.
That's true. So you've done it then?
Yeah, I mean, I've had them before. It's just, I had to cancel them when I was working on all my stuff last year.
Destroying the community, one Kickstarter project at a time.
I am. I know at one point my meta had, like, a single-digit low for quite a while.
You know what?
No, it's really not related to me at all.
Whenever I'm painting, I'm always, like, listening to something or watching something, and I get distracted. I want to watch it, or it's always like I'm painting, but I, like, think about other things that need to be done or whatever. But if you actually go to, like, a painting party or, like, a painting gathering,
yeah.
Like, I remember when I was at your place right before Valhalla, and it was just like we're just hanging out with Tommy, and it was just like, well, there's not much else to do. You know, Miranda's still at work,
Yeah.
and it was just like, we're waiting for you to come home, and it was just like, well, might as well just paint. And I just sat there and painted and talked to Tommy, and it was just like, it was great. I got lots of stuff done, and it was just like, it didn't feel like laborious at all. It was just like, just do it. And I got like a unit and like a couple solos painted.
Yeah, you got a fair amount.
Even with your interesting paints.
My paints are fine. So I don't know if everybody in the audience knows, but so Miranda gets shit for her paints a lot. I think my models look quite good, but
They look good.
so I literally use like the cheapest paints I can find because I mean I know Vallejo and Games Workshop paints and stuff. They're really nice. Whatever. I'm kind of a cheapskate about it, so I'm literally using like folk art paint or Americana or whatever other like random brand is 50 cents or whatever, and they work just fine. But I'm also not a very highly detailed painter. I'm like, in tabletop quality and get my arcs on, and I'm very big about getting the bases right. And it's good, it's fine. I don't care anymore. After it's sealed, I'm going to probably drop a tape measure on it anyway. So if I invest like 100 hours into my model, I will just be really sad.
It's true. I'm really not at that level that I require like amazing paints, which is why half the time my like GW paints are like they're like congealed half. I'm just like done. I'm like adding water. I'm like, no, it still works. It's still good. It's still good.
Back to life.
Scraping it.
Warming it, like some paint thinner. And...
Yeah. The medium actually is super awesome.
You know what? And the inks, like I love Null Oil. That stuff is fantastic, and I pretty liberally slop that all over everything. So.
I'm all about the Agrax Earthshade, Devlin Mud, baby.
Yeah.
Although I find that I'm all Agrax Earthshade, but then when I want something to look a little more clean, then I use a Null Oil.
Yeah.
For the most part, I got dirty pigs.
Well, yeah, and so I know, like you were saying, on my paints, like you can see the pigments or whatever are bigger, and so the model looks a little more grainy. But I think there's just so much invested in the technique that you can really work around that. And I say that because I have no desire to change paints. And it's funny because I get crap from my friends about it because, you know, one of them has all the Boris Vallejo paint sets. One of them is a big, like, P3 or GW set fan. And so, you know, first they come up and they're like, wow, that's a good-looking model. What do you use? And I'm like, Americana, you know, whatever. And they're like, oh, you can totally see the grain and everything. You know?
Yeah, that's great. The other Dan that was originally part of my channel at the very start, he got someone to paint his Tau, and when they were like he like coated them like with a hard seal or whatever, it put like this film on it, and they got all like it was like uh-oh, like just screwed these up, and I was like, wait, actually this doesn't look half bad. Like it kind of works with the color scheme.
Oh my.
And so it was just like, yeah, look at this awesome thing. So he's like, yeah, I like it. So you never know. It's just like it's an art piece, right? Like whatever. It's like you paint it, and that's the way it is, and that's your interpretation of how the model should look, or whatever, or your ability. And
so definitely not whatever, because there are high-level painters. I mean, you've seen the crystal brush entries, and you're like, my hat's off to you. I would never play with that model because, again, I'm not super careful. I was, you know, moving my men around. They're busy killing. But incredible artwork that some people are able to do on the models. So, I mean, there's definitely a difference, and they're in a whole other echelon from me. So,
yeah, I think they represent a smaller number of the community, though.
Really? I would venture to say there's at least the same amount of hobbyists as there are players. What do you think, audience? Dan and I disagree, and I think I'm right.
I mean, love the
there's
play.
A lot of painting channels on there, people who would rather be, you know, sculpting and making custom pieces and showing off how well they can paint a specific model. Don't really play.
Yeah, but YouTube producers are different. It's like, because in general,
it's what you see, right?
Because if you're producing on YouTube, you're showing off your like yourself or your work, or you're like, okay, I can do this. Here, I want to show people I can do this. While the vast majority of us don't make YouTube videos, and obviously enjoy the hobby, but enjoy like they paint so they can play instead of painting to the end of painting and then also playing.
I don't know. I mean, even people I know here in town, there's the ones that play who kind of ironically don't paint, very much at all. But then there's the people who come to the game store who are painting their models there, or they just came to hang out with people and talk shop, but they didn't actually come to play. It happens. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. I was showing. So I had some girls over the other night, and and my roommate's like, "Oh yeah, Dad has a YouTube channel," and I'm like, "Oh goodness, what do you do?" And so I like went up to my room and grabbed some models, and I'm like, "Here," and they're like, "Wow, that's amazing." I'm like, "No, I don't make the models." I just
like they have so little understanding of like what's involved in the hobby that they thought you were responsible for all these beautiful models.
Yeah, they're like, "Wow, it's so detailed." I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't." Everyone always jumps to that conclusion. I find they're like, "Oh, Dan's such a cool guy. He obviously does some amazing stuff." And I'm like, "No, I'm not that good."
See, at least I have the excuse that I've made something.
That's true. I have some cool terrain pieces. That's awesome.
That's true.
But then they're like, "No, I paint them though. I build them and paint them." And they're like, "Okay," but they're very much less impressed.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So for me, I never liked painting at all. Like I hated that part of it. It was just like, oh, I gotta get through this painting and so I can play with them and it looks neat or looks good enough. But as the years progressed or years passed and I got a lot better at painting, I got faster at painting. Like I don't spend more than like an hour on a model unless it's like a big model. I just like go right through it and they look pretty good considering. Like I think I paint very well for how quickly I paint, but it'll never be a top level paint job. But that's because I only ever paint to be able to just get it on the board, like make it look good enough at tabletop.
Mm-hmm. I think in mech painting sessions, I've generally gotten like either 1 to a small unit, like 3 or 4 models done. Because if you're doing infantry, it's like, okay, base coat, like assembly line it. But then like you're working on a solo, and you're like, I'm gonna make it this right. But after a while, if I'm just going over a line for like some trim piece, but I keep spilling over onto the other part of the model, like where the cape would be or something. Then I'm like, okay, clean that up, and I'm done. Because after a while doing that, I'm not going to get it any better than I already have, because there's only so much of a steady hand I even have for it. Like, I don't know. I have big hands for a girl.
I think they're called man hands. There's a Seinfeld episode about it.
Man hands. So Nick Dumont suggests, can someone be both a hobbyist and a player, like a plobbyist?
Well, yeah, but it's always one more than the other, right? If you had to choose one, what would you choose?
Well, okay, it's either one more than the other, or it wanes back and forth. Like this year, they'll be more into the hobby side, and then they'll get more into gaming like much later on. But I think they might become inversely proportional, because being just the hobbyist takes a ton of time, and being just a gamer takes a ton of time. So you must have a lot of time to do both.
Yeah, it was funny. I was trying to explain to someone how the hobby was actually very social, and they're like, "Really? Are you sure?" I'm like, "Well, yeah. I mean, I spent hours and hours painting and assembling stuff, but I spend just as many hours at the club making friends and traveling around the states to cons and all that kind of stuff." So, no, it's good. No, I agree. It wouldn't be the same hobby. Like I've been playing a bunch of like X-Wing miniatures, or I did, and it died out for me. Like I still have fun occasionally. I'll go to but it's just like my priority is I'm just on different things. Like mostly just because it's just kind of like, oh, plug and play, and you're great. There's no like time investment. You're not attached to the models, unless of course you would repaint them. But it's just like, no, ain't nobody got time for that. And so it's like I'll still enjoy playing the game with my friends occasionally, but like usually other things are taking priority. But like when I'm playing my War Machine models, it's like I've spent all that time and all that effort, and they're my models, and they're like custom. No other models look the same in the entire world, right? It's just they're mine, and there's something to that. That's really awesome of the hobby, I think. So yeah, they're both important. They're very both important.
Well, I mean, absolutely. Like, you don't really want to play against somebody at the game store who has a bunch of freaking unpainted stuff, barely assembled on their base, arcs not marked, and they're just like, yeah, I'm just trying this out. Like, I'll probably never paint these, and you're like, what are you doing? And also, like, Colossals, and you have like some really cool painted models. Like one of the guys here has this gorgeously painted Mountain King. Of course, people have very little reason to want to play the Mountain King, but when he is out on the table, like people from the game store who didn't take notice of the game before, are like, wow, that's a really cool model. What is this game? And like, it kind of grows the meta when you see these really awesome pieces on the board instead of, some jerks playing with, unpainted stuff. And I've been guilty of it, but I really don't like it, so I try really hard to, at the very least, have things primed and based.
See, I always base last. Like, that's like the final phase for me.
No, definitely base first. Your model looks half painted when you do.
I don't know, I've just never done it the other way.
Even if you paint your model looks not really finished because of an unpainted base. Like, I don't agree with that technique, but to each their own. Even though it's wrong.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I have one orc model that's based.
You're a terrible human being.
It's fine. But, no. What was I going to say? I don't know. I think...
Have you played much with your galleon? Is he painted?
My galleon, he's mostly painted. I half painted him, and then his head fell off. I don't know where his head's right now.
Okay.
Let me see if I know where his head is. Oh, still missing. I think I know where it is, though. I think I know. It's one of my bags. I found it, and I put it in a safe place.
Safe.
But,
you ever find it?
No, I need to finish painting my galleon. It was kind of like the main kind of colors are there, but like the details need to be fleshed out and that. But I'm just like I'm not gonna play with him anytime soon.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like he's on the back burner. I'm painting lots of pigs. Well, I have lots. Oh, I have so many more brigands. I have like another unit and a half of brigands to paint. I have another unit of slaughterhouses to paint. Some bunch of war beasts. I got Sturm and Drang now.
Oh, nice.
So maybe that's what I need to do is start filming some new battle reports with pigs. That'll be fun.
Well, there's probably a market for it. I mean, you're not going to see it too much. Although, I don't know. I'm curious if this Arcadius listen is going to bring a lot more people to playing pigs.
Well, there's a new solo, Maximus, he's pretty amazing, like, considering how he do it. Then there's Helga, which is a very solid caster, and she does wonders for all their infantry. And if you bring her out of tier, which is probably better, again, Pharaoh, like the Pharaoh list is if you just bring it, then all your infantry gets advanced deployment. Yeah. And so it's just like you're like super fast with dash. Like everyone's just +1 movement, and so you're just like rah, and just swarm at them.
Oh my gosh.
So it's actually a pretty scary list. It just auto loses to some things. Like Signar. It's just electroleaps and little pouches everywhere. Your whole army's gone. Oh.
Yeah, we're not running high armor, for sure. So I'm noticing in the chat, we're talking a little bit about like painting techniques, like painting faces, which I've learned less is more in my personal approach to it, but like do you have a particular weakness in painting your stuff, Dan? Like faces or specific details? Keeping the eyeballs straight?
I don't paint eyeballs.
Oh, really? They're just like
my skin. It's terrible.
Their eyes are closed.
My skin is dwarf flesh. I paint on dwarf flesh. I know it's a bit off. I don't care. They're all the same, and then I devil and mud it, and then it brings up the details a little bit, and I'm good.
Oh, wow.
That's it. And well, you know what? From tabletop, it looks great. You know, no one has their head like looking up. Well, some of the maybe trolls do and stuff.
I suppose it depends on how much the camera's on it.
Most people looking forward with like a helmet on or something or whatever, and so it's just I don't know. I just don't paint eyes because it's too hard to make it look good. And so if I have mediocre looking eyes and I spend all that time, it's just not worth it to me. And so maybe one day I'll learn how to paint eyes well, and put that time and effort into it. It probably isn't terribly hard, but if I want to paint eyes, I want to look at the face and it'll look like a face. You know what I mean? Either that or it's good enough.
Huh. I'm definitely halfway in there. There's no way I'm gonna go to crazy detail again, but I definitely have my little technique down. It's like, okay, if there's 2 eyes, which a few models in Cater only have 1, so that's easier. But if you have 2 eyes, I always start with like these black slits, and then I like kind of draw the eye around them, and that seems to work pretty well. And I haven't really needed to put like white in there because it seems to add too much contrast. So just on the skin, I'll have the outline of the eye and like the slit basically for the eyeball, and it's worked out pretty well. That's my tip and trick.
Yeah, for someone's asking no highlights, Dan, and highlights, I'll highlight like armor and cloth or whatever, but I'll never highlight skin unless it's orc skin. Orc skin's fun to paint. It's a lot of fun to paint.
I can see that.
But like half the model is skin, so. No, I never highlight. Okay, so my best face is on Constance. Here, let me see if this can. Wait. Let me manually do this. How do I do this again? I'm gonna figure this out.
Huh, Judas says, I've yet to see a player show his head on the table to examine a model's face. I might have this.
Wait. Focus, dang you. Focus.
You should yell at the camera more. Oh yeah, constant.
So it's not like terrible face, but it looks decent.
I can't really see it.
No, you can't. Whatever.
You should post a picture on your non-existent Facebook page.
That's true. I could. Didn't. Do you guys want me to make a Facebook page? Like, is that a thing? Because I don't. I'm not. Because I'm not like overly active with like stuff.
So like, if you did, it would probably make me more active. It would give me more reason to pick on you.
We would just belittle each other over Facebook.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
I could be. Yeah. Consider yourself challenged.
All right, I'll think about it when I get back from Thailand.
When you forgot.
I have a whole week before I leave. But
hey,
I
Judas,
feel like we're gonna be busy.
If you still play 40K, Dan, do you still play Orcs? Huh?
Do I still play 40K?
Your rumor.
Okay, so in Alberta, 40K is like so small. Like it has a reputation for just douchebag players, and it's just kind of like, oh, 40K. And then there's like a huge fantasy base, and there's a huge War Machine base. And so those are like the big games. Yeah. And there's like obviously a bunch of other little game stuff, but like 40K is like so small. Even in British Columbia, when I like go over the border a little bit, or go to the next province, state over, it was like this big event, and there was this huge amount of War Machine players, a really good amount of like fantasy players, and then the 40K had a tournament too, but only like 6 people showed up, and so there was this full tournament for all the three systems, and like 6 people only showed up for 40K. Like it's just not happening right here. It's just like very lackluster 40K community, and so it's like it'd be nice if there was just a big group and I could just jump in and stuff, but it's actually kind of a struggle to find someone to play 40K with. And I need to paint more of my orc stuff. Like I built a Gorkatron. He's so funny. Man, I love orc models still. Like I will always love orcs. They're amazing. But it's just like
their models are really good. I mean, honestly, you still has like best models after looking at the what is that? The one that I haven't assembled yet. Like moving joints under the arm, I was like, wow, this is amazing. So,
Yeah.
I was pretty excited. Nick, if you're what I'm thinking of, and you posted Dan's model or whatever on my Facebook page, then Dan's seen it.
Wait. Posted
A model, like a custom model of like what you look like, and you were all bearded out and roaring.
Have I seen this?
Yes, I sent it to you.
I remember it wasn't working, but I saw like a little miniature of it, like a tiny picture of it.
Goodness.
So I haven't seen like a good picture. It's.
All right. Well, never mind then.
Okay, I'm gonna go look it up right now.
It'll be in our chat.
Is it? Did someone just post it? I'm so confused. I'm so confused.
I sent it to you. Check my private messages.
Oh, like on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay.
And yes, Sammy, you're right. 40K has aircraft and tanks, and the whole vehicle thing is still pretty inarguably amazing. And like if you look at War Machine to start out, you might think like warjacks could almost act like tanks and vehicles, but they really don't. It's just different. So, and that's fine, I guess. Like the two games are just wildly separate, and sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like spending however much money for a 3 exorcists, and sometimes you just don't have the money.
Oh, it's with the double axe?
Huh?
Codex, yeah. So I'm holding 2 axes?
Yes!
Yeah, I'm down with this.
It
I like it.
totally looks like you, completely.
Does it? I don't know. Wait. Hang on. Okay, I'm looking at my camera.
You're gonna match the pose?
More or less. Yeah, no, actually, that's really awesome. That's so funny. I want this miniature. How do I buy this miniature?
You can. There's a link, I think. It'll make it.
Add to cart.
And then you can choose the level of detail. Not that I know what this is like.
Wait, 6-inch statuette?
That's probably a bit much. Unless you're really... you have a 6-inch statuette of yourself. I could probably... interesting conversation piece.
All right, let's go to ultra detail miniature, because we want some good detail here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, Hero Forge, right, Nick? You can go there and create custom miniatures. So it's a pretty neat place.
Who made this?
Nick Dumont in the chat. You should
Thanks,
thank him.
Nick. That's awesome. Man, see now this one I'd be happy to paint up and never play with. Although I bet I could find a spot for him somewhere. He could almost be like a manhunter solo.
What, me?
No, me.
You?
With the double axes?
Manhunters are not people, like, I don't know.
Oh, I gotta register.
I mean, you're a cannibal.
I'm just buying things online during the live show.
You guys, just send Dan 3D models you think are really cool and watch him buy them. So Ando, your advice to Sammy about buying an unpainted secondhand army, it's really hard to find an unpainted secondhand army. Usually you just find a badly painted secondhand army, and then you have to soak everything in alcohol or green stuff or whatever to get the paint off.
That's the worst.
And it ends up being so much more painful than if you just bought the model. Unless you can get a really good deal. Or you're willing to run around with purple warjacks, which some of mine came as whenever I did that. Yeah. So, just words of the wise. it's harder to get that paint off than you think.
Yeah, Juice Crusader, the 40K has like vehicles that are awesome, and War Machine just doesn't.
Well, War Machine is just new transports, right? So you have the battle engines, like he was pointing out. It's just you're not carrying troops in them, and then they disembark and charge a model or start attacking. Like they are just always their own separate unit, a warjack and a war engine, or yes. So it's just different, you know. Plus the movement and everything, just, I don't know. 40K, you've got really long shooting ranges, and it makes sense to maybe disembark and start shooting here, or park your vehicle up here, tank shop. Like, all the rules for the vehicles end up being kind of fun, too.
Does anybody have a voucher promo code for Hero Forge?
Oh my goodness.
What?
Scrounging for discounts online.
That is a good attribute to have.
How about some respect for your audience?
I just started out there.
Joshua, yes. Actually, my little costume, my Cater costume, is as a Winter Guard. In fact, if you look at the Winter Guard UA, who's like this girl with this braided ponytail, that's who I modeled my whole, like, I don't know, pseudo character after. So it's actually a Winter Guard officer. In fact, I've got the shoulder pads here. I'll show you. Behold the extent of some of my crossties. These are ABS, vacuum formed, melted in my stove, because I don't cook, but apparently plastic goes in there a lot. So. And I attached those to completely sewn, like, together badly, but whatever, sewn together enough, like, coat, Winter Guard coat, and got the whole bit together. It was really fun.
Yeah, I wish I could, like, figure out that kind of stuff.
It helps to have help. Although, it's crazy what you can learn on YouTube. Like, crazy makeup techniques, like costuming, sewing, vacuum forming. Like, I learned all about everything I know about vacuum forming came from, like, YouTube.
That's true. I suck at makeup application. It's just, maybe I just need to look on YouTube.
It's true. I'm pretty sure you can find open heart surgery on YouTube. Although that would be terrifying.
It's the eyeshadow. I can never get the eyeshadow right.
That's right.
I actually hate makeup. I don't know how you girls do it. Like, okay, let me explain. I was in a play, and people in plays put on makeup because all the light shining on you washes out your face, so you want your features. Anyways, right. I hate makeup.
Well, theater, like, exaggerate everything.
Hey, look, I have American money left over for my little trip. I'll use that at some point.
Uh-huh.
I need my credit card.
Oh my gosh. Were you telling a story?
Was I telling a story?
About how you hate makeup? Was this going anywhere?
Oh, that was it. I just hate makeup.
Wow. Alright. So anyway, back to the audience. I've not tried the Robotech RPG game yet. I have a couple people I know who have bought the miniatures, who have gone a little crazy assembling them, but I don't know much about playing it yet. That's the Kickstarter one you're talking about, right? The tactics? And then, Joshua, do you think you may get the Man-O-War Bombardiers? So I own Man-O-War Bombardiers. I have a unit of 5 of them, but they're so overcosted for what they are. They're a 711 unit, speed 4. Like, I think Rat 5 still. They've got like a 10-inch little AoE 3-shot, and then they have like critical sustained attack on their weapon, and they're just gonna get blown off the board. If you're going with Man-O-War, like, the shock troopers can be pretty good because that shield wall can really armor skew, and behind them, demo core. Bombardiers are waste points.
I don't know. With that solo, you can make them walk 6.
Wow. Well, wait a minute, which soul? Are you talking about the Kovnik?
He's like, isn't he like Black Dragon solo Covenant thingamajig?
Well, there's a Kovnik that any model that has shield wall can get the +2 to movement. Won't apply to bombardiers. They don't have shield wall. That only works for shock troopers. Yeah, so
That's what I was thinking of.
like if they made a free UA with the bombardiers that made them faster, it would still be questionable as to the value of that unit. Unfortunately, I think they just really had trouble point valuing it. And what's it going to do, right? I mean, part of War Machine, it's such a speed game. I mean, Kador has a ton of buffs to make their jacks fly across the table. In fact, in my list that I was playing yesterday, which I didn't get a chance to do, but I had a 13.5-inch threat range on my little Grolar between Malikov and Sorsha 1. Like, yeah, that's the kind of game you play in War Machine right now. You're speeding across the table. Like, any model units that are just going to be way in the back, coming in turn 3, 4, it's a waste of points.
It all depends.
I would definitely put my money into shock troopers and demo corps way before I would buy more bombardiers. Now the bombardier bombshell and like those models, they look great, but I can't justify using them.
I've ordered myself online. My life is now complete.
Wow.
Wait, who just called me a crossdresser? Judas?
What?
I'm not usually a crossdresser. Most days I'm just normal.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I've never worn a. Have I never worn a dress? I don't think I have. I wore women's pants once all day, without knowing. I had my suspicions. They grew stronger and stronger until I figured out that they were women's pants. All right. So this is the story, okay? So I get to work, I step out of my car, and my butt just goes, just like splits open. And just like the pants, it was their time. They were done. Then, like, my butt was showing. Well, my underwear was showing. And I do deliveries around downtown and stuff in these, like, nice, fancy offices. So I was like, well, this can't work. And so we're looking for pants around, this big warehouse of, like, stuff. And so my coworker has, like, this big bag of, like, work pants. So he's, like, pulling them out, and, like, one's too big, or one doesn't, like, broken stuff. And I'm like, oh, this one. I'm like, oh, these work. So I fit them. I'm like, the pockets are small, but whatever. And so I just, they fit. They're a bit tight, whatever. I was like, wait a minute, like the zipper's on the wrong side. This is weird, and the pockets are so useless. There's no back pockets. I'm just like, wait. I like going in. I found a hairpin in one of the pockets, and I'm like, wait a minute. But it was too late to change. And so, yeah. And then I wanted to go to the club to play War Machine right after, so I didn't have to have time to go change. And then we all went out to Chili's afterwards, because we're all sitting having a good time, like eating, and I'm just like, hey guys, I'm wearing women's pants. And I was like, what? It was a great night. It was fun.
Wow.
That was a great day.
I don't know. Pants are pants, always. I mean, I know girls have a little bit of a different cut, and typically they have the worst pockets in the world, but whatever.
Yeah. One thing I cannot stand is lipstick.
Huh?
One thing I can't stand is lipstick. They're like, in the play I was in, they're like, yep. Like, they forced me to put it on, and they like put it on for me, and then I like went to the bathroom and like wiped it all off. I was like, no. No lipstick. I have a big beard anyways. I had a bigger beard than this at the time. You can't see my lips.
Or if you do, it just looks kind of weird, embedded in this nest of hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well. I typically am not a fan of makeup either. Just on the eyes, like nowhere else really.
There you go. I think it's just because my mom never wore makeup. So I'm just never feel inspired to.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So,
don't wear makeup. So have you ever worn a dress then, Dan?
I want to wear a dress. I'm trying to think. Have I ever worn a dress? Guaranteed, if I was still at Mini Wargaming, I would have been part of that dress bet stuff.
Uh-huh.
I would have. But to this day, no, I have never worn a dress. Mm-hmm. That should be on my bucket list, though. Flip-flops, you know?
Dress. Go to Thailand. Rock climb up like some crazy high mountain. Wear a dress. Like, really all over the place.
I'll climb a mountain in a dress and flip-flops. Oh, that's so tempting.
I don't want that. That's just a terrible eulogy.
I'm not gonna die.
Climbing a mountain in flip-flops in a dress. First off, it's a terrible idea. And then you just die in the earth. Because you're gonna fall, and then nobody's gonna want to help you, because you probably are crazy if you're this dude out here climbing a mountain wearing a dress and flip-flops.
But I've already climbed 2 mountains in flip-flops.
You hiked mountains.
Yeah, hike a mountain. I mean hike a mountain. I'm not going to climb in flip-flops. Actually, I have climbed in flip-flops. Just like bouldering a little bit.
I'm not talking
After
to you.
the mountains.
Listen to the audience anymore. That's what I'm going to do. Joshua responding on the bombardier thing. I can see the point. They are pretty slow. Just the idea of chainsaw grenade launchers sounded cool. And it does. It does sound cool. It should be cooler. Kind of makes me sad that the reality is always different, right? You look at some of these models, and I know you've done it, Dan, especially on Sigma, where you're like, this is great, like, this could work so well. It never seems to work the way you think it is on the table, or somebody just has an incredible counter for it that you are never going to be able to, you know, actually pull it off, whatever it is with your model. So, yeah. Then Joshua asks, for both of us, is there a Warcaster for your main factions that you don't find appealing/useful? Appealing and useful are 2 different things. I know in the world of Khador, people are in love with the Butcher for some reason.
Because he's awesome. He's got the best fluff.
I completely hate him. Completely hate the Butcher. Cannot stand. He's an evil, murderous psychopath. I cannot abide that. I just can't. So I will never play the Butcher. Either version.
Ever?
Ever. I mean, unless, like, I guess there could be some weird bet who's the boss type thing I get paired up with, but it will never really be, like, my choice that, oh, I'm interested in this psychopath, because I'm not. The part I like about my army is, like, this orderly, you know, people are soldiers, and, you know, they signed up willingly for their army. They're not being forced to hold Orgoth relics that make them go crazy because they're horrible people, like, before they went to prison. I mean, I really like Irisk because he's so, you know, staunch and diligent and, you know, cares about his army and the motherland and stuff. It's like, the Butcher really is just crazy and not very sympathetic, even. Like, I know he's got reasons, but everybody's had stuff happen to them and they handled it better.
Yeah.
That's my rant about the Butcher.
For me, it's hard. I'm so open-minded. Like, I can accept, like, almost anything and, like, work with it.
You don't even read the fluff, though. What do you care?
Well, I do know the fluff for, like, most stuff. like the skimming of the fluff. Like, I know, like, at least for Signar. Like, Siege is awesome just because he's just like, yep, I'm the ultimate commander, and I will win this battle because I'm a military genius, and I'll figure stuff out, and you're just screwed because I'm Siege. And he's just like, I could do things. Kane is like the super rebel badass, and he's like, just like, screw everyone, I'm just gonna do my thing.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of cool. I'm not overly excited about his fluff, though.
Yeah.
Constance, whatever, she's all holier than thou, but I just amused at how she plays, so I like her. Sturgis, very amused at how he plays. As for fluff, meh, whatever. Darius, I think his fluff is hilarious. He like gets out of his suit once and almost dies, and he's like, "I'm staying in here all day, every day. I'll never come out again."
Yeah.
I'll just sit in my little toilet bowl. But he's just like, he just loves Jax. And then Haley is cool because she's just like the ultimate like power in Immorin, who's like so powerful. Then of course she gets poisoned.
There's that whole chosen one thing going on.
Yeah. Actually, Kara Sloan, I'm not excited about her.
Really? I think she's kind of cool.
Like, I've actually never played a game with her.
She will blow your head off if you give her the opportunity.
Oh,
and if
for
you
sure.
don't, then you'll probably win.
And she's got refuge as well, so she can like move up, blast stuff, and move back, and that's cool. And everything. And I don't. Hmm?
Does refuge protect you from free strikes?
I don't. Yeah, I think you still get free strikes.
Yeah, I think it's not really great.
But she's shooting anyway, so she moves up, shoots, and then moves back. You know, so she gets her like 14 inches, or use her fire group for 16 inches or whatever. And she's got a pretty powerful gun, Weapmaster gun, which is really cool.
Yeah, and it's the only Weapmaster gun that I know of.
It's just, I don't know. It's just like, I played a lot of other shooty lists, and I like delving more into more melee, combined arms kind of Signar list, at least recently.
Yeah.
Unless it's Nemo with electricity. He's like, I love Nemo. Nemo is amazing. He's just like this old man who should die at any time. You just flick him over and he dies. But he's like, no, I'm awesome. I'm going to make this work and I'm going to kill you all.
Oh my goodness. Nemo's interesting. He at least seems like a really stand-up dude as much as like the War Machine Fluff lets anybody be.
And he's a freaking genius. Like he's invented Stormwolf, Thunderhead, and all that, and Dynamo. Like, I should get a hold of Dynamo at some point.
Alright, so Sammy's giving me grief here. You do know it's a game, right? I think you're overthinking the backstories. And no, I disagree with that. You have to like the characters you're playing. I mean, if you don't care and that's your style and you're just like, well, I like this model because of X reason, fine. That's not how I play, though. Even in 40K, I like the Sisters of Battle. And I lost a lot because I played Sisters of Battle. But I really like their fluff. I like that they're not really tainted by chaos, like, and they're, super, protecting of the Emperor, and I love the whole motif. I love the stories. It gets me. It's what keeps me in a game is going to be the fluff. Like, the more I learn about it, and if it's really cool, even if the gameplay is bad, then you can still come back to a game because you get really excited about the stories in this world that it's supposed to be a part of. It's kind of what's kept certain games alive.
I guess that's true.
And also, I think Sorsha is more attractive than Haley, but I guess that's all a matter of if you're into blondes or not.
Yeah, I'm not a big blonde fan.
Yeah.
I'm more brunette kind of guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorsha doing it more for you?
Maybe. I am into ice cold women. Just rip out my heart. But enough of my love story, my love life. We don't have to talk about
Wow.
that. Okay, know what? Who I do not like fluff-wise is Striker. Striker is so boring fluff-wise, I find.
He's a good guy. I actually liked his fluff up until he went epic.
But he's so boring. I'm the good guy. I'm not doing the
Some people in the world are good guys, Dan. Not everybody can be a bastard.
We can try. So, but I love all the Strikers. Every single one I love playing. Like P-Striker, a lot of people find him boring, but I find him he's just such a solid caster. I like playing him. And he always got that crazy earthquake going on, and he's just very solid and awesome, and I like playing him. And then Epic Striker, of course, is just insane to play. And then I haven't played too much with Horse Striker, but every time I play with him, it's a blast.
Horse Striker? That just sounds like animal abuse.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like you just bring more of the cavalry units, and that's cool. I love cavalry.
And I haven't even messed with cavalry yet. Like, the models are expensive and they look like a pain to put together. And as we've talked earlier about the piles of miniatures that still need to be assembled in my house. So this is something I will get to. And Twisted Bishop, you're right. Khador is a fascist government, which, I would have no actual interest in living in. But I do think they kind of care about their people. And you do have to go with it to a certain point, because easily in the world of Imran, it's probably the best place you'd want to live is Signar, or just out in the wilderness, far away from everybody. But it's still all the people have pride in their country, and they're all very, very, patriotic, and yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So there's at least like pride, and they work really hard, and they believe in strength and honor. I mean, even if you look at what is Iris fluff, Ein Vanar, got onto him at one point for not being careful enough with his soldiers, being wasteful with their lives, like, and so he like made this concerted effort to really care about them and be more, judicious, I guess, in where he put his men. And so like those are the things that I really stick with. And Cater's kind of split because there's like the bastard side of them, because Zerkova is a terrible person. And obviously opportunists too. But then you have like the other ones who are soldiers, and they just want to protect their country. So, just saying.
Michael's X asked, what do you think of Karchev?
I own him. And I don't know. I really haven't played with him enough. Like, I've heard talk in the podcast and stuff, like, oh, he's super terrible. And yeah, I mean, he probably is. Large base casters tend to have a problem with being targeted, and unless they bring, like, a lot to the table, they're probably not worth bringing. And you think for a jack caster, he would be able to bring more jacks, but it's actually, like, 5 focus. The way it works is all really goofy. And maybe it's just a high learning curve on it. I don't know, but I have not been very successful in the very few games I've been able to play with him. However, I do think he's entertaining. So, in that regard, he's very good. I've missed a whole lot of
I've been slacking on my eggnog.
Whoa. Let me go back here. I'm gonna catch up to whatever you guys are talking about.
It's light though, so there's all they had left at the supermarket.
Mm-hmm. Teach you to do things the last minute. That makes me a big hypocrite.
Mm-hmm. It's
going to the LVO, Las Vegas Open? Yeah, probably not. I've got a terrifying amount of stuff to get done, and
when is Cool Mini or Not's con thing that they're putting on?
Which one?
Cool Mini or Not?
That's in June. June 19th, I think. And I will be at that one.
I wonder if I'll be able to make it to that one.
I hope so. That would be a lot of fun. So yes, LVO is Las Vegas Open in Las Vegas, which would be really cool. I would love to go to it because it would be the first time I've ever been to Vegas. But in all likelihood, it's going to end up being next year. So there I go.
Nonsense. You can bring your life savings, play it big on Vegas, double it, and then you go to all the cons. There's a flawless plan.
That's true.
Now you have to go to Las Vegas Open.
Well, I was going to make my mortgage payment, but since you put it that way...
See, living on the edge is better.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes not anyway at all. I have never gambled at a casino. I do occasionally have a poker game with some friends, but it's like $20 buy-in and that's it. I've never won though, so I've only ever lost money gambling.
So I'm trying to think, because I've been to like the casino or whatever with my mom, because for whatever reason, like I guess people who get older in life seem to find that more entertaining. But I've never gambled with my own money.
I talked to someone once who like won like I think it was like $5,000 one night. They like brought like $50 and came out with $5,000, and they're like, "Wow, well that kind of makes up for all the money you've lost." And they're like, "Not even close."
I don't know a surprising amount of people who are remarkably good at the gambling table. I used to have a boss who would just go to Vegas every year, and it would always pay for her trip plus some, like come back with like $1,000 extra. I'm like, I know I can never do that.
You mean like playing at like poker tables?
No, like penny slots and stuff. She loves, and she must have had endless patience. I can only imagine how long you've got to be at one of those. So anyway, Joshua, you're correct. It is a monarchy. That's also a fascist dictatorship.
Yeah, I enjoy people who paint their factions different colors that like branch out. I still kept with the blue, but I
Yeah.
threw in some red. Make it interesting.
Oh, Troy, that'll be your first time at Las Vegas. That's awesome. When is Las Vegas open? Is that for the end? It's for the end of February, isn't it?
Actually, wait. Yeah, this shirt I'm wearing. Wait, it should say Rudicon on the back. But well, it's a very, very small con in Rochester, New York. But it's the first con I ever went to, and my second ever War Machine tournament.
Oh, wow.
And I lost round 1 because I forgot to hit feet with Haley 2.
Aww.
And then I lost round 2 because I missed a boosted 9 to kill Sorsha.
Sorsha's hard to kill, or hard to hit. Hit her.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah, I needed to hit her. If I hit her, it was like dice -2, and she had like 3 boxes left, and I could boost the damage. It was just like, it was great. She hid. It was the first time I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. So Colossals were out. Oh no, this was not my like second tournament, or maybe it was. I didn't go to a lot of tournaments. Anyways, Colossals were recently out, and the guy brought a Conquest, and so I walked up with Siege, and I foxholed the Conquest. Which, in the rules say if anything is completely in the foxhole, it grants a cover, and it does not block line of sight. And so the Conquest can't get cover, but it basically goes down to its knees and like falls over, and then I can see Sorsha. I'm like, all right, let's shoot her. And she's like, you can't see her. I'm like, yeah, I can, because of the foxhole. And they're like, what? Calls the judge over, and they're like, the judge is like, wait, you just did? He just starts laughing, and my opponent was like, so upset. And then I almost killed him like turn 2. It was like, ooh, but then, Siege was up there, and then he just like walked forward and like punched him once with the Conquest, and it died. But it was totally worth it just for that look on his face. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yes. Well, we should probably start wrapping things up. I actually have some.
Oh, that's true. Holy cow! It's almost 8 o'clock.
I know. We just started blabbing on and on and on.
All right. So what? Okay. I want a New Year's resolution from you, Miranda. I know you don't believe in that crap, but I want you to make a goal for this year and share it with everybody so you can obtain it. And right now, it could be something small. Mine is just to paint something every month. Have something new painted every month, no matter what.
Because this thing will not do well for me. Got my year productivity looks something like that. So.
Well, you can maybe every 2 months. Okay, I just want you to make a goal, and then I want to see you fail, and I want to mock you mercilessly. That's really all I want. Are you going to take that away from me?
Okay, that's a fair point, Dan. Well, in this case, then, what I mentioned earlier, I'm going to try and win a game with Zorkova's Hunting Wolves list as soon as I have it assembled. So I guess part of that will be having a proper list that fits tier 4 and attempt to win, to win with it.
I like it. I think it's a good goal.
Okay, I have all the way till the end of the year on this, right?
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
I want to win a tournament with pigs, actually. I don't know if that's going to be a resolution, but it's kind of like a semi-goal. I just want to win a tournament with pigs. I've never won a tournament before, so I'm going to do it with pigs. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Good luck with your New Year's resolutions and your painting and your playing. And 2015, I feel it. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a great year. Do you feel it, Miranda?
No, I agree. I'm on this. I'm on it this time. And I'm definitely looking. The biggest thing I'm looking forward to is having painting parties and being able to talk shop again. Then it's kind of been lonely in 2014, in the lab in my house.
You need to set up a laptop and get me on Skype, and I'll join in.
Okay.
Maybe once. That'd be funny.
All right.
All right. For reals. See you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.